Hello everyone, welcome back. This is James. I wanted to do a video for you today. I'm going to entitle this video Myths About Home-Based Federal Firearms Licenses, or FFLs. The reason I want to do this video is because there's a lot of misinformation going on out online and just in the general public. And these are things that I've come across as I've talked to people and kind of read things online or had online conversations. Myths that have come up and that I have found to be untrue. I have applied for a federal firearms license. I had my interview with the industry operations investigator yesterday from the ATF. So basically she said I should have my federal firearms license in 2 to 3 weeks, and these are just things that I read and during the process, or came up in conversations, and they are not true. And I'm going to give you the truth based on what I have experienced today. I am considered a home-based federal firearms licensee, or I will be once I get my license in 2 to 3 weeks. My shop is at my home. It's 5 feet from my front door. The first myth is that you can't get a home-based federal firearms license anymore. Back in the 80s and 90s, people were doing what they call kitchen table gun dealers, where people would get a federal firearms license to sell guns from their kitchen table, so to speak. And a lot of people believed the ATF put a stop to that. They did not, in fact, put a stop to that. You can get a home-based federal firearms license. There's a little bit of a process you have to go through. Same process as if you have a commercial building. But you can get a home-based federal firearms license. The second misconception is that even though they haven't stopped it, they're trying to make it impossible to get a home-based federal firearms license. I'd say that's also false, because the lady who came out yesterday, she was very nice, very informative. She was very helpful. I had forgotten basically to put down that my local law enforcement officer was the Johnston County Sheriff. I just put Sheriff Steve Bizzle, and I needed to put Johnston County, North Carolina on there, and I forgot that or overlooked it. She was like, can you make this small correction and initial and date? So if their intention was to prevent me from getting a federal firearms license, there would have been the perfect opportunity to do it. But she was like, it's no big deal. We have people make a lot more mistakes than you when they send in their paperwork. She's like, just correct it and initial it and it'll be fine. She was very helpful in terms of helping me get the records, what I need to do as far as records and paperwork and all that straightened out. And if she wanted me to fail or not be successful as a home-based federal firearms licensee, she wouldn't have gone through all that thoroughly. So I felt like she really cared and was interested in me being able to succeed. Now, that's not to say that certain politicians and what I'll call political appointees to higher positions in the ATF, they may want to outlaw or make it hard to get a home-based federal firearms license. But I don't think the rank and file officers are that way. If the less gun dealers and the less guns that are being sold, that's less work for them, less job security. So they theoretically, and we talked about this yesterday, they should be all for having more gun dealers, more gun sales, because that gives them job security. The next myth is that you can get a federal firearms license for collecting, personal collection, add to your gun collection, buy guns at wholesale for yourself. That is partly true. You can get a Type 3, which is a curio and relic license. That's for collectors, but you can only that license is only good for guns that are 50 years old or older. So if you wanted to buy a new Glock, for example, you can't buy that with a curio and relic Type 3 license. The license I'm applied for is a Type 1, which is a gunsmith and a gun dealer's license. So I'll be able to do gunsmithing or sell/transfer guns with that license. I can buy any modern production gun that is not an NFA item. If you don't know what an NFA means, it's basically full auto, short barrel shotguns and rifles, or suppressors. Those are the main things covered under the NFA. I can work on those items, if I want to, in doing gunsmithing, which is sort of the reason I'm getting into this, is to do gunsmithing and transfers to add a little extra aspect to my business, to make a little extra money for my taxidermy business there. You cannot, it's against the law, against the policy, whatever, to get a federal firearms license other than Type 3 for your personal just to add to your personal collection, or to sell at gun shows. She said, are you going to sell at gun shows? I said, probably not, but if I do, it won't be the only reason I'm doing this. I'm doing this to add to my taxidermy business. So she was fine with that. I would say if you're doing this, if you're trying to get a Type 1 or well, Type 1 would be or Type 7 was a manufacturer's license. What you would want if you were trying to add to your personal collection of modern guns, it's probably not worth it. Buying wholesale on new guns, you're not going to save a lot of money. I mean, a gun dealer might make $50 on a new gun. That's not to say on all guns they make 50 or less, but there's not a lot of markup in new guns. In terms of having guns shipped straight to your house, that might be a convenience, save you a few dollars transfer fee, but really it's probably not worth it for as much record keeping and the headache of getting the license and getting the fingerprints and doing all that kind of stuff. It's probably not worth the hassle. It's not worth that hassle just to save a few bucks in transfer fees or trip to a gun shop once in a while when you buy a gun on Gunbroker or whatever. Now, with that said, I can buy personal firearms with my federal firearms license, and she said that's the way they prefer that federal firearms licensees buy them, is with the federal firearms license and then transfer it to yourself, through your logbook, which is fine. Next is that if you're going to apply for a home-based federal firearms license, you need to buy some sort of info that's available online. There's one or two companies that are really pushing their services or information. They guarantee you can get a federal firearms license, whatever. I would say, at least in my case, I didn't need that. There's plenty of other information that's free. When you get ready to start the process, you can go online to the ATF's distribution center. You can Google that and it'll come up, or you can call the ATF distribution center and order a federal firearms license application packet, and it'll give you all the instructions as far as what you need to, the paperwork you need to fill out, the fingerprints you need, the pictures you got to have to go with the application. All that stuff is in the instructions that the ATF will give you for free. What they won't tell you is that you need to have all your zoning and tax stuff and all that lined up. So before I sent my application off, I live in the county. I don't live in city limits. I got what they call a conditional use permit for home occupation. Basically, it's contacted the county planning and zoning department, told them that I was going to do taxidermy and gunsmithing and that from my home, and that I needed to get the proper zoning permits for that. And guy got my name and address, and the that was on the afternoon. The next morning I got an email with a PDF file basically stating it's a conditional use permit, so all my zoning was taken care of. I also had to register for a federal EIN with the IRS, which is Employer Identification Number. It's basically a federal tax number for a business. You can Google how to do that. It's a very, very simple process. Takes 5 minutes. I signed up for the North Carolina State Sales and Use Tax number. I'll need that if I do any gun sales. And then the last thing is really just I'm got the federal firearms license in my name, but the name of my business is New Life Taxidermy and Guns. So I had to register that with the county. It's called an assumed name. The county register of deeds registered it for me. It's 20-something bucks. It's, again, a simple piece of paper. So I got all that stuff together and made copies of all that and included it with my federal firearms license application. The fingerprints and the pictures and everything that's in there. And I got all that extra stuff I just told you about. Basically, once you send that in, as long as you're not, if you can buy a gun legally, pass a background check to buy a gun, and there's no local or state rules that prohibit you from operating a firearm business. Okay, and that includes a homeowners association if you have one, or an apartment complex, management or whatever. Then the ATF will give you a home-based federal firearms license, no problem. It was really not that bad a process, and I definitely would not pay anybody for any information on how to do that. I think that's a waste of money if you at least in my case it was straightforward. So I'll go ahead and wrap the video up. We're about 11 minutes here. I'll just say that this was an easy process. I think if you're interested in running a firearm business and you want to get a type 1 or type 7, or if you are interested in doing pawnbroking with guns, you can get a type 2 firearms license. Not a problem to do it from your home, as long as you're cleared by your city, state, local authorities. Again, I want to say thanks for watching. If you guys have any questions or any myths that you've heard that you want me to address after having been through the process, shoot me an email or send me a comment, and I'll try to address them. If there's enough questions, I might do a part 2, but right now I think I've covered pretty much everything. If you haven't hit subscribe, do so. It'll that way whenever I make a new video, it'll show up in your news feed. Again, thanks for watching, and hope you guys have a great day.